Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is JGOD. In today's video, we're going to focus on the best class setup for the Spitfire in Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Overall, this has to be one of the best weapons in the game. The only downside with this weapon is it tends to have a lot of recoil for the average player. And that is without even having that wildfire operator mod, which makes this thing kick straight into the sky. But we'll go ahead and jump into that best class setup right away and then give you a few different tips throughout the video on how to utilize this weapon. So for the Spitfire best class setup, I go with 4 different attachments, and the 4 attachments I use are extended mag, quick draw, stock, and fast mags. For my gear, I'm running that stim shot, and then for perk 1 I have scavenger, and perk 3 I have dead silent. And although those are the perks I decided to go with, you can easily swap either of those out for tac mask or gung ho. So since I've pretty much covered the main reason you clicked on the video, pretty much everything beyond this point is extra. So if you have enjoyed the video so far, please remember to hit that like button. See if we can get this video over 500 likes, and if you are brand new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn those notifications on so you can find your way back. And just so you have a heads up before you do subscribe, I primarily do Call of Duty content related to news, in-game updates, best class setups, subscriber breakdowns, as well as other tip and trick videos on how to improve. So let's go ahead and get into a few different things that can actually help you out with maintaining your accuracy with this weapon. And there's actually 2 different techniques when it comes to maintaining accuracy with this type of weapon. The first tip, which is a little bit more obvious, is to actually just adjust for that recoil. And the main reason you want to do that is because for almost every weapon in the game, when you fire the weapon, it's going to start to move from the center of the screen towards the sky if you don't actually adjust for it at all. So your goal should be able to adjust for this recoil by pulling down slightly on that right analog stick at an equal rate at which the gun wants to move up. So with every different weapon, you're going to have to make the adjustment based off the amount of recoil it has. And obviously on the lower end of recoil like the ICR, you're not going to have to make that big of an adjustment. And when it comes to the Spitfire, it probably has the most recoil within the game. And because of that increased challenge, it increases the skill gap to actually use this weapon. So if you're actually looking for a challenge on controlling recoil and looking to get better at just controlling your recoil with pretty much every weapon, the Spitfire is probably a great option for you, because if at the end of the day you can master this type of weapon's recoil, you can pretty much handle any weapon's recoil. That was the first tip, so let's go ahead and jump into that second tip. And the second tip is a little less obvious, and it has to do with that trigger discipline. And what it does is it takes advantage of the fact that this game has what's called predictive recoil. And predictive recoil, if you don't know exactly what that is, it means that every time you fire your weapon, it will do the same recoil pattern. Go ahead and try it out. Go into a private match, shoot the wall, hold the trigger, don't actually adjust for recoil in any way, and then go ahead and step a few feet over to the side, do the exact same thing. You can do it 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Doesn't matter how many times you do it, it's going to be the same recoil. So one of the best ways to take advantage of this predictive recoil is that every weapon has a different recoil pattern. So typically at 10 rounds, 12 rounds, depends on the gun, but after you've reached a certain amount of rounds, then the gun starts to have a little bit more erratic recoil. So the trick you want to utilize is to pull the trigger and then release the trigger and then pull the trigger again. And every time you release it, you're going to release it for a microsecond. And when you do it correctly, it almost looks like you never even release the trigger because the bullets never stop coming out. But since you cycle through the release of the trigger and then pull the trigger again, the game is tricked into thinking that you restarted that recoil pattern and doesn't actually register that you've been firing the weapon the entire time. In previous Call of Duties, this technique was more referred to as burst firing, but with the predictive recoil, it adds another dimension that allows you to reset that pattern and allows you to take advantage and have less recoil. So I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Did you already know of both of these techniques? Did you find the video helpful in any way? And let me know if it actually works for you. So if it does work, go ahead and come back to the video. Let me know. Say, hey, yeah, that was a huge help. I'm able to manage that recoil a lot better, or whatever the case, or it didn't really help, or maybe I'm doing it wrong. Whatever the case is, let me know down in the comment section below so I can have that feedback and actually introduce that into future videos. And that about wraps up the video. If you did enjoy the video in any way, please hit that like button so we can get the video over 500 likes. If you are brand new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn those notifications on. And if any of you would actually like to go that extra mile and stay connected in another way, you can go ahead and follow me on Twitter and Twitch, which will both be linked down in the description below. Appreciate all the support on the channel. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.